Okay, I make the teapot body, lid and spout the other day, and today I'm going to finish up trimming and then assemble together, make it into a teapot. And before I started, I will introduce what kind of tool I have to achieve the result. Of course, I need to have trimming tools. These are my trimming tools. Some of them are made of tungsten carbide tips, and one of them is my regular stainless steel tool. So I'm going to use that for trimming, especially for trimming the knob. I need to have something that have a round corner, so I will be able to get into here to trim the knob, underneath of the knob. So that's the tools for trimming. And then for cutting the spout to fit, I will have my number 7 just cutting knife. And then for making the hole puncher, also try to scrape the clay so it will better fit. So I will need to have a this is a hacksaw blade with the teeth on. So I will do that and to show you when to use it. And of course I need to have some kind of rib to polish, burnish the foot, and also put my stamp on it. So those are the tools I will need it for this demonstration. Alright, so put that aside and then let's get started. Usually I trim the body first, trim the foot, and then turn it upside down and trim the top. And then you see my lid for this teapot is a little bit big. I intentionally make it a little bit bigger because I want to have a perfect fit after I trim it. So the perfect fit is important for me. Okay, that's the one of a good criteria for a good teapot is that the lid has to fit very tight. Okay, so that's why I make my lid a little bit wider. So it's not perfect fit now, but later it will. Right, so let's do the centering. Tap centering is usually the method I do. It's very good skill or technique to have, save you a lot of time when you are trimming. And also sometimes I place my bit wear here on the wheel, so to brush the underglazes or the stains. So put it in the center right away and I can brush it over more evenly. So that's a very good technique to have. And get a clay coil to secure. And you see when I'm holding the clay coil, my left hand is pushing down the clay, so I don't push. I spend the effort to center it. I don't want to push it by accident, push it up the center. So that's why I'm holding it down. Sometimes the clay is a little bit dry, so it absorbs the water right away. So you want to make sure that it's secure, especially if your clay is very soft. Okay, that the holding clay is too soft. Sometimes it just separated. So making sure that you secure it. Right, so for trimming, Sometimes you could use a needle tool, or maybe just use the corner of the tool to give yourself a guideline. You can draw one line outside and one line inside. So give yourself an idea where the foot ring should be, and then you just trim accordingly. And since this piece is cutting off the hump, so usually the very first thing you might want to level. Okay, just roughly level your piece. So when you are leveling it, spin the wheel a little bit faster. And then take it either from the inside or take it from the outside. Slowly go through. Okay, so that's level. And now you can draw two lines. One here and one here. Slowly bring the edge closer to the line. And just roughly remove the clay from the side. And also the clay in the middle, I don't need it, so just stick it in. You can use either side of it. I have all three edges been beveled and sharpened, so just hold your tool in different way and you can easily remove the clay. That's one way. Use the other way. And even here, if your clay is kind of a drier, this is a very good way to do it too. Just use the tip of the tool and just hold it steady. That's when your clay is a little bit drier, and usually my tool, so now you see that it's getting loose. So that's why the rim is awfully dry, so it absorbs the water right away. So that's why it just come off. And let me recenter it again. Or let me use a water method to stick it to. And for using the water to stick the pot on, you have to learn the tap center. Okay, tap centering is the key if you want to use the water method to stick your pot on the wheel head. Okay. So I turn the body upside down and gonna trim this part a little bit, and then trim the lid, trim the rim a bit so the lid will fit perfectly. So now there's a problem that the rim is coming too close and it's getting thin already, but my lid cannot fit it yet, not perfect fit yet. So what I'm gonna do is try to remove a little bit of clay from this gallery here, so it will fit better. Okay, but now the lid is still too wide to fit in there. So this is what I'm gonna do. Trim this part here. Trim. Okay. So now I'm going to remove my body first. This is cutting off the hump, so it's not quite level. So this is what I'm gonna do. Level this part first. Again, if you learn the tap center, this is very easy. So just level it. And then turn upside down and center it again. Okay. And I know it's just a little bit, so I'm just going to do a little by little and then bring back my body and to see how they fit. Just one more. Okay, that's good. So see how it goes, right? So it's not moving and very tight. So that's the fitting. Either way, you trim the body, the rim of the body, or you trim a little bit on the gallery for the on the lid. So either way, or you can trim the both. Okay, trim both. So that's the fitting nicely. I'm gonna trim the knob now. So after cutting roughly the size of the knob, and then I'm going to bring back. I was using my number 2, okay, and then I'm going to bring my number 3 to take care of the knob. Because the special design for that is that there's a little curve here, so it fits just nicely underneath of the knob. Okay, so that's the lid and the body. Now I am going to attach the spout. And usually when I'm attaching the spout, I kind of put it behind, okay, behind it, put it behind, okay. So to cast a little a line, the little curve, so where I should cut it, so give myself an idea. Just cast a line here, a line, and then cut it from there. So now I'm trying to fit the spout. I already tell you that put it behind to cast it, and then I'm gonna put it on the time lapse, so you don't need to spend the whole time watching that cut it in. Okay, from the angle you can see there's still some gap in between my spout and the body. Okay, so I'm not going to go for the detail, but just keep on cutting it. I told you that at the beginning of the video, you want to use the hacksaw blade teeth. So this is the teeth, and then just use the teeth to remove where you think that clay that is not fitting very well, that spot. You can just use the teeth to scrub up. And see, now it's much better. Okay, the fitting. Okay, that looks good. And also the location of the spout. Usually, okay, the 3-point rule for the good teapot, not only for the function, but also the for the aesthetic, the looking, is that the 3-point, this spout, and the lid, and also here in the handle should be at least the same level, okay, the same height. Okay, so that's for not only the function but also for the look, okay, the better look. So that way it's the teapot is balanced. Okay, so usually you can put a knife or something straight to give yourself an idea where the location of the spout should be. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, pretty good. And then I try to put my stamp right underneath of the handle. So this is my stamp here. So I usually do that. So I will adjust my spout there. Okay. Right, and then find the right location. Make sure it is straight spout. Not only the height, but also straight. Okay, straight. Right, and then just use a needle tool to trace the outline of the spout. And this is where I am going to punch the holes for if you want to serve the tea. If the tea is in the tea bag, it's fine, but sometimes, especially the Chinese, they want to use the tea leaves there, and the leaves is going to be stuck in the spout, so you don't have some kind of a filter or strainer. Okay, so usually that's why when you see the teapot inside, from inside you see they have lots of holes in there. Not only that, cut in a big hole, lots of a strainer filter for removing, for blocking the tea leaves from sticking on the spout. And cut in the holes. Usually I would start with two holes on the top, and then I just spread it out. So that's where I am going to punch the hole. Again, I'm going to use a time lapse, so you don't need to spend the whole time watching it. Okay, so I punch all the holes, and then now I'm gonna score, make the joint part a little bit rough, so you will have a better joint. So before I joint, I usually like to brush a little bit water here to rehydrate it. Okay, so now for the attach, and make sure that I find it straight. Okay, that looks good. After that, just apply some pressure to the joint spot. Okay, and then I'm using a plastic knife. Okay, I got this from a fast food store. Just remove the teeth. This is very useful. So use that to compress it. First, I compress from the spout and try to push it down. Push down a little bit extra clay. Right, since my clay is porcelain, so I could use a sponge to smooth it without dragging out the grog. And you can use a brush to brush it over again. So after it gets a little bit drier, you just go back here and then use the plastic knife to smooth it again. Okay, so that's the attachment of the teapot, the spout. And then I usually will cut the spout, the tip of the spout, to trim it so that there is a little angle here. And that not just for the looking, but also for the function. So I place my spout away from me and then just use a very sharp knife. And then go through. You want to be very careful because my spout is, the tip of my spout is a little bit dry. So you don't want to have a crack. So Just be very careful with it. And also when I'm cutting the spout slanted, but remember the clay usually has the memory. So meaning the clay after glaze fire, the high temperature fire, the spout is gonna twist, okay, twist the direction, okay, you pull, okay, the clay remember. So since my wheel is spinning counterclockwise, and I'm actually pouring the clay clockwise, okay. So when I'm attaching the spout here, it's gonna clay remember the has been twist the clockwise way. So the clay is actually going to twist, meaning this point is gonna go spin clockwise. So meaning this part is gonna be low and this part is gonna be higher. So I want to compensate that. So when I'm cutting the spout slanted, I cut a little bit of angle, meaning leaving this part a little bit lower and this part a little bit higher. So once they fire, they turn back. Okay, they turn back. So that's a little tip for you if you like to make the spout, throw the spout on the wheel. So I'm gonna use a sponge to smooth, since I have a porcelain. So it's all right to do that. For stoneware, it's very hard because when you're using the sponge, you tend to drag out the grog and that surface become too rough. But it doesn't happen to porcelain. And then I'm using the brush to even smooth further. Okay, so that's the attachment of the spout, and very time consuming. But you want to do a good job on attaching all the parts. And I will attach the handle later on, because the handle now is just sitting there waiting to dry, and then attach it later. You don't want to attach it right away because the body is a little bit drier, and you have to wait till they are at the same stage. And some people ask me why you have a hole here. That's very simple answer to that is that because I show you that my lid is very tight, okay? And if you have something very tight, you don't have an air hole here, the pressure to push the liquid out. If you seal it, the water won't come out because this is very tight, okay? So that's the air hole for easier to pour out the water or the tea. Okay, coming back to attach the handle. Try to line up spout, lid, spout knob, and then the air hole here. So just straight line, and then I'm going to attach my handle right there. Okay, so that's the straight line. And then also I show you that the 3-point level here, here, and here. So this will be a bit lower. Okay, so first I will try to score. And then I cut the handle off. And I'm waiting for the handle at the right stage to attach it. What is the right stage? This part here, when you are holding it, it's not slippery. Okay, it's kind of dry, but the handle is still bendable. You can see that. See that? Try to bend. Okay, so that's the stage I'm waiting for. All right, and then score here too. And I usually use my fingernail to tap where the attachment is going to attach. Kind of tap it so to make it wider. Okay. Again, before I attach it, splash some water over the joint spot. And some slip. Okay, make sure it's straight, and then apply pressure. And hold it in position for maybe a minute or two, so that the even if the body and the handle is not the same dryness, eventually the body or the handle will even out. That the water, the moisture, if your body is drier, it will draw some moisture, draw some water from the handle. So that's why you want to hold it there on apply pressure. Okay, so that's the attachment part, and then I'm bringing it up to see the height of the handle. So the handle could go a little bit higher, so that the point would be the same. And then I'm gonna brush the slip over where I'm going to joint. Slip of water. Okay, make sure this is straight. Right. And then needle tool to cut it off. Slightly bend up, so adjust the height so that 3-point level apply. Okay, And then the final compression. Okay, just keep a drip of water right there where the joint is gonna be. Okay, a drip of water, and then just pressure to compress it. Okay, so that's the attachment of the handle, and I will come back later. Now I just brush some water over the joint and let the body draw some water, some moisture from the handle, and then 5-10 minutes later I come back and use a needle tool to kind of blend the clay together. But for now, I will just wait. So I'm coming back to smooth the joint. That's about 5-10 minutes later. Okay, so that's the finished teapot.